Dear sister, dear Dhamma friends, now it's the time for the Dhamma talk. Today's Dhamma talk. To start the Dhamma talk, you may consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Magga jnana dassana visuddhi avadeva patipada jnana dassana visuddhattang iti. Dear Dhamma friends, today is the 13th day in our retreat, and each day we allocated a time period for a Dhamma talk, and we connected them, all of them as a series of talks. And for all the series, we have taken the Rathavinitha Sutta, the particular discourse you find in the Dhammajiva Nikaya, and there it introduces the 7 stages of purifications. And it is specific in this particular sutta. You have this kind of arrangement, and there is no other mentioning in the other areas of the canon specifically on these 7 stages. And later, when Acharya Buddhaghosa going to write a treatise on that, he selected these 7 stages of purification. Then onward, it became a characteristic feature of in the Theravada tradition. And if we go back to the Sutta, this is rather a discussion between, dialogue between Venerable Sariputta and the Venerable Punnamanthaniputta, and both of them are very eminent disciples of the Buddha during the time of the Buddha. So they are venerable, both of them are very cautiously present the theory, and without making much loopholes to get misunderstanding, and make it more pragmatic and leading one after the other. At the beginning, the Venerable Punnamanthaniputta, as an answer, he denied that each and every individual step is not the destiny, and later when the Venerable Sariputta is to ask, if that is the case, how can I understand your statement? Then only he says, it is that the first stage is just for the sake of leading to the second stage is just for the leading to the third stage. Likewise, in the second half of the discourse, we have so far covered up to the Kankha Vitarana Visuddhi, that means overcoming the purification by overcoming doubts. This is very important change in the meditation, and that is now leading to the Magga Jnana Dassana Visuddhi, that is the knowledge and vision, the purification by knowledge and vision of what is the path and what is not the path. And that also, even though it is very more important and crucial and subtle than the overcoming by doubts, here Venerable Punnamanthaniputta says that is not the final destiny, and because this purification itself has its own weaknesses or disadvantages or flaws, it is just to make rooms for the next purification, namely the purification by knowledge and vision on the path. So therefore today's Dhamma talk, we are going to rather emphasize on this Magga Jnana Dassana Visuddhi, and according to the later commentary exegesis, it is going parallel with the Udayabbe Jnana, that is arising and passing away of the phenomena. And there, if you are to open the book and see in the Visuddhi Magga, the path of purification, huge amount of information you can see within this particular stage, and in order to make it more lucid, the early part of the Magga Jnana Darsana Visuddhi, or the early part of the Udayabbe Jnana, and the mature part of the Udayabbe Jnana has some clear differences according to the commentary exegesis. When and where the yogi, the practitioner, reaching this early part of knowledge as to arising and passing away, his mind is so much tuned, so much refined by early 3 purifications. Now in the middle of the 4, there's a kind of a transition, kind of a settlement going to happen, acclimatization into the higher jnana. So therefore this is becoming a critical, obviously working at the pivotal point, early part and the mature part of the Udayabbe Jnana itself, or otherwise you can say within the 7 stages of purification, the early 3 stages and the latter 3 stages, this is the pivot. So when someone come up to this level, or in the sense we can say if someone can manage to bring the meditation up to this level, his or her spiritual faculties like the faith, the energy, the mindfulness, the concentration and wisdom are fairly strong, and they are reaching a certain maturity. For example, if you take the faith, up to now the faith was rather superficial, dependent on the virtues of the Buddha and respect to the Dhamma and respect to the teachers and other practitioners. But when someone is coming up to that level, rather than on the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, he or she will develop his own experience as something resolute. That is to say, not only the primary object, but even in the walking meditation and the day-to-day activities also, whatever the object confronted with, the yogi will understand how to deal with this particular object. Not much depending on the borrowed knowledge, not much depending on the theory, he or she will understand what is to be given the priority, and when and where you select the particular object for the time being, how to deal with the secondary objects and how to deal with the primary object, as to see the beginning, the middle and the end. If I am to give a little bit of clarity in the to this explanation, when you are in sitting meditation, of course it is very obvious the primary object. If you take in-breath and out-breath as an example to explain it, he or she will be really understand how and the way to see the beginning, the middle and the end of the in-breath and the out-breath. But specifically at this level, when the pivotal point happens, in the same stream of consciousness, he or she will understand more crowded situation with thoughts or feelings or pains. It's a kind of another upsurge. So if you are not really prepared, it will appear like a backward step, but it is not a backward step. This is due to the sensitivity of the mind. So thoughts are happening, and the sounds are there, the pains are there, but even then, the practitioner or the yogi comes to know, the midst of thoughts, still if you can see the primary object, that must be the correct path. Not to think that my stream of consciousness must be free of thoughts. He or she will never expect the stream of consciousness to be free of pains or sounds. Or when that, even they are there, without getting mixed up, know when and where to re-establish the connection with the primary object, And then more and more you develop the familiarity with the primary object. For the first time, going to understand by this correct method, the thought will be less and less. And the pains will be reducing. And the sounds will be reducing. Instead, if you are going to pay attention to the thoughts and the sounds and the pain, they become aggravated. So the method is little by little become familiar, master, ways and means to go back to the primary object must be there, otherwise the discouragement will happen. In the walking also, that while keeping the left leg, right leg, the sounds are there, the visual objects are there, wind movements and the other limbs, the movements are there, but even then, how to keep the pace with left and the right, the yogi will come to know. And specifically when you are turning, there's a change in the intention and are there a lot of objects, secondary objects going to come in, and know how the art, how to maintain the mindfulness that you brought up to that point, and while turning not to drop it and to maintain till you turn completely. So that means understand, for example, when you are driving in a path, as a beginner, a learner, how to take a turn to the side way. And when and where they are happening, what are the road signs, what are the disciplinary code you have to follow in order to avoid accidents. Earlier you were just learning in the main road, going up and down, but now you know how to take a turn to the exit from the main road, or how to enter into the main road. And in the day-to-day activities also, whatever may be the intentional work you do, become your primary object, while intentional task is performing, there are a lot of things are happening in the day-to-day activities. And the yogi has to take this priority selection, and without that bewildered what to do and where to do and how to do and when to do. But here, your faith is such, your resolution is such, when under such multitasking operations, know where you have to keep the attention, the priority. For example, if you are running an institute and you as the chief executive or the boss, you must know what are the crucial issues that you must invariably handle, and what are the issues to be dedicated to the second in charge, and orderly manner, selection of priority. So this is how you develop the faith upon your own experience, even in the day-to-day activities. So therefore this faith, when compared to the early one, is known as Okappana Saddha. That means you initiated, you started with the Pasada Saddha, that is superficial Saddha. It is on the external thing like the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. Now slowly internalize. Okappana Saddha is you are penetrating, you are climbing into. And when that happens, whatever the mistake going to happen, or whatever the mishap going to happen, you are learning many new ways and means how to reinstall the Saddha, and therefore mishaps or mistakes become your exercise. So up to that point, you consider them as hindrances or distractions or disturbances, so you expect idealistic situation, theoretical maximum. But here, your attitude changing towards the distractions, you learn slowly how to make use of them in order to increase your immunity, your versatility, the capacity. And so therefore Saddha also come up to certain level, and the culmination of that is called Adhigama Saddha, that is leading to the path knowledge. So therefore 3 kinds of Saddha. Initial Pasada Saddha, now at the Udayabbe Jnana level or Kappana Saddha, and now then only it will be mature into the Adhigama Saddha, that means culmination. As far as the Virya or energy is concerned, at the beginning it is called initial energy, and often you have to fight with the Nivaranas. It is stream of consciousness, a lot of blocks and a lot of distraction. But at this level, it is not the case. Now you know how to raise your head or nose above the water level. And there your death threat, that is not there, but you know how to keep the nose up. And there the amount of energy you have to exert is to keep or maintain this already secured place. That is called Paggahita Vidya. The Nikkama Dhatu, Aradha Vidya, Paggahita Vidya, Paripurna Vidya. That is one way, just like the Saddha, 3 layers or 3 evolutions in the Vidya. Sometimes it says Arambha Dhatu, Nikkama Dhatu, Parakkama Dhatu. Sometimes it says there's a parallel terms the Buddha has mentioned, but the same thing happened. Here, this kind of a Virya is called sustaining. That a lot of challenges are happening, and the day-to-day activities, your moods are changing, and sometimes sicknesses happen, so many things happen to your mindfulness to drop, the trend and the timetable to be break. But even then, you learn ways and means how to sustain, how to maintain what you have earned. So therefore, this Virya, often you have to assimilate yourself according to your temperaments, your dispositions, your upbringing, your time, your background. And therefore, at that level, whatever the mishaps going to happen, you have to assimilate new ways and means to develop or maintain the sustaining, the maintenance of the particular energy as well as the other faculties. So therefore, more and more you become self-sustained or self-saturated, and less complaints. That means you can't expect ideal situation, but even then you must know how to maintain this, how to sustain this already earned situation. So this is a pivotal area. And the mindfulness also, at the beginning you find it is often broken, often uncontinuous. But here, predictably you can keep 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or sometimes 45 minutes, 1 hour, continuous mindfulness. When that happens, you will understand, even if you are maintaining your mindfulness on the breath, sometimes the mindfulness takes the refuge of the in-breath and out-breath gross level. Sometimes it takes sharp observation to the touching point. Sometimes it takes the sharpness as to see the difference between the in-breath and out-breath. So, within the object, all the facets are being specialized in different places. You never complain telling that mindfulness is multivarious. You know it is the way the mindfulness has to be efficient to cover up all the 3 facets of the object. And on top of that, the 11 facets, the past form, the present form and the future form. And the gross breath, the subtle breath. The desirable one, undesirable. Inner form, outer form. Near form and a faraway form. So even these things happen, you understand mindfulness is intact. This is the way it branch out and grow. And when and where that loses the mindfulness on the primary object and jump into thinking, now your skillfulness slowly developing. Now, from the mainstream, it goes into the branches, and sometimes is wanders off. That means thinking happens, theoretical knowledge going to set in, And ultimately you don't know whether it's a theoretical knowledge or direct touch. And even then, that will become an exercise. That will become a challenge for you. Going out, no problem. Again, it has to come back. Whenever you come back, you are not worried. You are not tensed. You are not fault-finding. Develop the mindfulness in a sustained manner, or it is called steadfast manner. Even you are unmindful, you can cater for. Slowly you understand that even the unmindfulness happen. The main thing is not to worry. Because it won't make any permanent damages. And that give a golden chance, you start again, or bring the unmindfulness to the back on the path. So therefore each and every mishap is helping you to develop the steadfast mindfulness. And therefore the concentration is fairly sustaining. That means the state of mind or stream of consciousness is fairly light. No much of distractions, because you know how to keep the nivaranas away from the stream of consciousness. And when and where the nivaranas going to sit in, you can really earmark them. This is the kamachanda, this is the desire, or this is the hatred, or this is the sleepiness, this is the doubt, this is the remorse and the excitement. Likewise, you, for the first time, you earmark them. It is very clearly explained in Satipatthana Chittanupassana level, the different mental states. But even then, they are really dangerous, infectious disease-like. But here you study them. You diagnose them, the pure form of the sensuous desire, the pure forms of the hatred, and how to isolate the sloth and torpor, how to isolate the remorse about the past and the excitement regarding the future, and how much the entertaining doubts. So when that happens, you delimit them, and that is as far as you can delimit them, the tapestry, the background, the canvas of the concentration is intact. So this change is very crucial. At the beginning you consider the nivaranas as completely negative, bad elements you vehemently fight against. But now slowly you cater them. Come in and go there, but under control. So that is in the Chittanupassana. You understand different mental states. But even then, throughout, the kind of a concentration is maintained. And kind of a knowledge is there. Nivaranas are exactly have the same suchness with the knowledge that you expect. The nivaranas have the same suchness with the faith that you are developing. They are mental factors. They themselves do not know they are bad thing or good thing. According to your value judgment, according to your perception only, they become good or bad. So therefore, to understand it, you have to have a mixture of good and bad. And even then, if you are not worried, if you are not tensed, if you are not worked up with, that is what you call the knowledge. But before you come up to this Udyape Jnana, you expect when the Jnana or knowledge or wisdom to happen, there should not have any distraction, it must be peckless. When the concentration happens, you think it is like a piece of cheese, thick, no other impurities. And the mindfulness, all the kinds, but here you understand the pragmatic, practical, even if it is imperfect, not perfectly 100% pure, this is really giving you an understanding about the how the positive aspects of the meditation, something like faith, the energy, mindfulness, concentration and the wisdom. Other side, nivaranas, 5 hindrances. So there on and off comes, but for the first time you gain the control. And then, in order to make the mind more immune, or hardened, or seasoned, or mastered, there should have certain amount of distractions, or exercises, or question papers. Then only the internal, or your own qualities, or five indriyas, or faculties develops. So therefore, for the first time, you understand these things, these all distractions have their own pragmatic value. Each dark cloud has a silver light. And that is not naturally happening, but in order to explain it, or to take the issue into the table, this is being presented. But many times, you may entertain idealistic situation, and then you may worry, discouraged, and unhappy. But that must be your attitude, or that is the way the teacher must be, or the noble friend must be pushed. And when and where you are going to gain the confidence, the available faith, the available energy, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom is your own. Even if it is weaker, don't mistrust it. Give the trust, give the resolution, and let it fight. In the battlefront, not in the bunker. Don't let them to withdraw, unless otherwise it is necessary. So therefore you are really putting into fighting. So one day you change your attitudes, your disposition, now I can manage. So this is the point, the Taruna Udayabhaya, the immature rising and passing away knowledge, going to the Balava Udayabhaya, maturity. It develops the confidence. Damages are happening, but they are not permanent. These damages will never undermine your basic potential. Basic potential is always there, but if you have a correct approach. So when that happens, this change, Udayabhaya jnana into the immature position to the mature position, is very the involved thing. It's a very broad thing. So when the change going to take place is impossible to say and reduce to one particular place or one particular time. So that is what it happens. When that happens, you have to facilitate as much as possible to develop the self-confidence. Less and less believing on the external sources or external powers, instead believe your own things. So there only you have to reconsider your likings and dislikings, your personality, your timetable, your approach to the theory knowledge, your approach to the deductive knowledges, and the association with the noble friends. They have become very sensitive. So still if you are not ready to change your likings and disliking, the progress will be hindered. If you are not ready to give up your personality trait and to reshuffle it in order to cater for these changes, that means you are not really supporting, you are not really compassionate to yourself, you are not concerned about your well-being, you are in a rut. You still have the same patterns, same personalities or stereotype mind. So Dhamma can't go there and change it unless otherwise you do it by yourself with your common sense. So that is why, as far as we are in the dispensation of the Buddha, there are a lot of role models. Slowly they are changing. Otherwise, you find stuck. And no one can find the reason also. So therefore you must be real malleable, adjustable, and obedient, and basic thing is the faith, but your honesty must be there, and humbleness is the word. You must be very humble, and to try, that is maximizing this self-confidence. Don't undermine. In order to increase this self-confidence, now you are basically give the trust upon the faith, the energy, mindfulness, concentration and the wisdom. So, looking at the whole Tipitaka, the commentators have assimilated 9 points that better you keep it in your mind. If you wish to sharpen, this already earned the factors or the powers or pancha bala or pancha indriya, that means the faith, the energy, mindfulness and the mindfulness, concentration and the wisdom. It says uppannupannana sankharana khayamevan pasati. You have to develop the mindset that whatever arising have its nature of passing. That does not apply only to the defilements, that you must be happy and hilarious only to the defilement. You, for the first time, you have to understand even the very faith that you develop by at the cost of all the kind, that itself has its passing away nature. When it is passing away, you must not worry. You must understand next time it is your duty to reinstall it, that's all. And sometimes you feel so lethargic or sleepy, slimy, sloth and torpor, it's unbecoming, very difficult to maintain your reputation. That means your energy has dropped. Sometimes due to the discouragement and the pain and the disappointment and kind of thing. But if you do not believe that disappearance means again a chance to reappearance, even if it is reappearing, again it is going to disappear. So therefore the difference or the two aspects of the same factor, that is sleepiness and the energy, they are interchanging each other. So this is a very clear sign. You are observing arising and passing away, not only the object now, but the sloth and torpor in the one side and the other side the energies. So that changing thing is something dramatic. It is something sporty. It is something hilarious if you have the correct perspective. And the mindfulness, I think last you will compromise on the mindfulness. You will take mindfulness is the always has to be there, and unmindfulness is always to be discouraged, but that is not the case. The mindfulness always is interchanging with unmindfulness, and each time unmindfulness comes, it will give a more steadfast mindfulness to set in. So the early mindfulness is always interrupted. But more and more developing a new, a fresh mindfulness, it is a high degree or have more strength in quality and quantity. So they were breaking and again reconstructing, breaking and reconstruction. I mean, it is very necessary in the capitalist system. Once in a way, war must be there. Otherwise, no progress in the economy. That is why that some people are creating wars. Many ways. So exactly the same thing. That very breakage is the new opportunity for a strong thing to arise. So therefore, sankharana khayamevana pasati, that means not only the defilement considered as a sankhara, even the mindfulness also considered as a sankhara. In here, under this context, the sankhara means whatever it has, the arising and passing away nature. It is not the mindfulness is escape from that mindfulness. And the concentration. Concentration also very, for the feelingful people, they are completely depending on the concentration. So whenever the concentration gone, they are ready to commit suicide. Don't worry, that is very natural. So there are many cases during the time of the Buddha. They were top in the earning jhanic experiences, in the materialistic and the fine material sphere, and whenever that is gone, they feel like lost, completely lost. So therefore, they are committing suicide. So much they are believing These are the kind of people based basically upon these feelings, but you have to understand the concentration also arising and passing. Each time it drops, you must understand next time you have to develop much stronger way. Just like after the complete devastation of the Japan, it came up from out of the ash to be the most strongest economy. Because they were not discouraged. They took it as a challenge for to come out. So concentration was the same. And the wisdom. You will understand whenever the mind is worrying or become tense and frustrated, that you will never entertain the life. So even at the cost of the reduced mindfulness, the wisdom, you must understand that is your duty to reorganize it, reassemble it, and synthesize it again and again. More and more you synthesize it with the scraps. That very knowledge going to happen is not a borrowed one. It is not a shareable one with others. It is by your own ways and means. So therefore each time it is broken, and when you are reconstructing it, your skillfulness, understand the ways and means increasing. So therefore, uppannannam sankharanam khayamevanupassati. Now slowly you are losing the discrimination, the good and the bad. Losing the discrimination, just and the unjust. Losing the discrimination between the auspicious and unauspicious. You understand everything is the same. So the proper understanding and do the what is needful. So therefore, basic attitude to changing nature is happening. And tattacha sakkaccha kiriyaya sampadeti. You have to do this reconstruction with full faith, full respect. For example, when the faith broken, you reconstruct it, reassemble it, synthesize it, and assimilate it with the biggest duty you have to do. You never think that whatever I am going to do, it will broken, why should I do like that? That is not the way. You are a soldier in the battlefield. You have to depend on you have to surrender to the command, and even at the cost of your life, you have to go into the battlefront. So likewise, when the faith broken, sakkaccha kiriyaya sampadeti. And the energy unbelievably drops. Flat tire, flat battery. You have to recharge the battery. So more and more recharge, that is the way your maturity come into being. You are not depending on the outside. And the mindfulness also, haphazard. Sometimes coming, sometimes going. Because one thing is, of course, the mindfulness is gradually developing. But once you come up to this, come season with certain consistency of the mindfulness, the existing season mindfulness appear like not enough. For a beginner's point of view, it's a very good achievement, but now you are in the middle. So when you come up to assessing your own mindfulness, you feel like not enough. That's a comparatively, your sensational transference is going to happen. So therefore you feel mindfulness is good. But don't make it the point to be discouraged. And reconstruct. And the concentration also, wisdom also. So therefore sakkaccha kiriyaya sampadeti, you must understand how to do it with full respect. Whenever the sakkaccha kiriyaya is explained, it says that in the traditional country, something like Sri Lanka, whenever a respectable monk going to pay a visit to a householder, he just go forward and pay respect, invite the monk, please Bhante, come in and wash his legs, dry it, make a cloth, white cloth and put onto the chair, ask him to sit and give some drinking and spittoon, and if he is chewing beetles, whatever may be, and then sit in front of him and asking what is the Bhante purpose of coming, and can I have some question answered, and all the kind of thing happen. the monk becomes the owner of the house life. The owner becomes just a kapakaru. He becomes the slave. So much he is doing with respect. That is not a kind of slavery or inferiority. He is doing with so much of respect. That is called sakkachakiriya. So when it is doing there, everything happens in a very beautiful way, aesthetic way, in a religious way, spiritual way. So that is what in the early times the students are being asked to pay respect to the books and the lessons and all the kind of thing. Otherwise, our parents used to say, you will not be a good scholar, so therefore don't put the printed papers on the ground and sit upon that, because it's a disrespect for the letters. For their time, even each letter is such a sacred thing. So therefore, if you are going to disrespect them, you will not get. They are superstitious, but that is the way the respect happens. So that is called sakkachakari. So therefore you have to sakkachakari. And then sappayakari. You must understand what are the conducive conditions. And how to facilitate and develop the faith when it is not there. When the energy it is there. And when the mindfulness is not there, how to develop the mindfulness. So, what are the conducive conditions? You must know according to your trial and error. So, therefore, sappaya karunu, sappaya means the conducive conditions. At the beginning, you have to ask from the Buddha, you have to ask from the disciples and the idealistic standard conditions. But more and more you develop your own list, checklist. When this is something wrong, how to start and how to go up to that level. And as sakkachakari, sappayakari, satachakari means that whether your meditation is in the top class, the faith is good, energy is good, mindfulness, concentration and the wisdom. Even then you have to sit regularly, the due time. And when the meditation is utter nonsense, no gain, it is utter cost and very tiring, even then you have to do the same time. Just like you are going and reporting for 8 hours per day for your duty. Exactly the way the satachakari, satatabhyasa means regular practice. So that means you are considering it as one of the main duties. So likewise that your approach, you must give a priority when you are organizing your timetable, when you are organizing your priority list, give the due time for walking and sitting meditation. And when it is happening, the Venerable Jnanarama used to say, if you allocate 1 hour per day, for example, and at that time, don't let the other visitors to come and talk to you. You let them know, other family members also, this hour I am either leaving the house or I am going into the room, and don't call. At less of 23 hours, you can do as you like. So this is the way you have to respect. And even then he says, sometimes there may be very urgent things. You can't allocate that whole 1 hour. If it is so, at least not to break the train, allocate at least half an hour. And make the habit. And he says sometimes the household responsibilities and kind of thing, sometimes even not helpful for that 1 hour. If it is so, at least make a determination. This hour is my meditation hours. You do whatever you have due to the pressure, and next day immediately you have to reinstall this hour. So that is the way you have to respect the timetable. And when it is happening, that on and off you are going to get a good samadhi. I mean, that is the most immediate good response you are going. And samadhi also, you have to samadhi is a nimittagahiyo. Whenever you are going to get a good samadhi, you have to understand with respect to what condition today samadhi was good. So therefore, instead of becoming elated and happy, you must understand the proximate factors coined according to your rational understanding for that samadhi. Next day also you have to assimilate that same proximate factors. Samadhi is such a nimitta guy that means you have become opportunist. Whenever good thing happens, next day also try to assimilate the same. So give the maximum conducive conditions. And Bhajjanganam Anativattanata. And there you will understand in the 5 faculties or 7 factors of enlightenment, there are some factors are really energizing the mind, other factors are really calming down the mind. The energy, the mindfulness, and the inquiring mind sort of thing are really energizing the mind. And the concentration, and the equanimity, and tranquility, they are calming down the mind. So, when and where mind becomes too much agitated and scattered and excited, you must develop serenity, concentration, and the equanimity. When the mind becomes very slimy and sleepy and sloth and torpor, you must develop energy aspect, the mindfulness, and the inquiring mind, or inquisitive nature into the Dhamma, so that it will be warmed up. So that these two you have to balance, and it, as far as the 5 faculties are concerned, the faith and the wisdom must be balanced. The concentration and the energy must be balanced. So your diagnostic nature must never be forgotten. Always when something goes wrong, try to understand what is the most proximate cause for this distraction and how can you rectify it. And yet another factor the commentator said they found, halfway if you are going to decide without seeing the full cycle or full wave, definitely your decision is not lasting. So you have to see the end of the wave. It may be a good thing or hilarious and achievement, but even then, let that event to completely finish it. And if you are completely discouraged and disheartened, don't rush to a decision halfway through. So you let a whole natural phenomena to take place, whether it's good or bad. If that is the case, you will understand that when the good or desirable or pleasurable thing going to happen, the beginning part is very pleasurable. When it is disappearing, it's a kind of a pain. When the painful happens, the beginning, the part is very painful. If you have to see the end of it, it's a pleasure. So if you manage to see the beginning, the middle and the end, there is no taste difference or some total difference in the pleasure and pain. It's just the face. So if you, without ending halfway and arriving at a decision, if you manage, if you maintain to see the end of it, so you mature, your decision is very mature. Therefore, don't go for short-tempered quickness and let it happen again and again. When that kind of happens, even this is so detailed, the commentator says, this thing happened to happen, you have to practice 1001 times in order to galvanize it, in order to reinforce it, because these things are your own. And all the faculties are at your fingertips, at your discretion. So they have to practice again and again and again without asking what is the next. Like that the next means your seasoning is not enough. You are fed up with. You are not happy with. So understand it is a pivotal place, and re-assimilation and breakdown and assembling and dismantling is an important feature. Otherwise, you are in a cleavage. You are in a rut. You are in a blinkers. So when that happens only, the Udayabhya Jnana come up to the Balabodayabhya, And there it says that your understanding, it says sometimes explained in terms of parinya, jnata parinya, tirana parinya, pahana parinya, that means full understanding of knowledge, theoretical knowledge, and a full understanding by analyzing, and full understanding by relinquishment, renunciation. So this Udayabhya Jnana change is considered the consummation of the full understanding by analysis or inquiring nature. Then only the pivot. You go to the other side, that is not the permanent one, but you know how to put into the productive, the white side or more powerful side to the mental factors, more conducive for the meditation. So therefore Udayabhya Jnana is understanding the path and non-path, and whenever you go to the advantageous side, the hilarious feeling, the contentment, the satisfaction, saturation, sometimes go by leaps and bounds. And there you feel you are more than the Lord Buddha. Everything you know how to do it and kind of thing. And there you understand now there should have something important thing have to have happened. So you used to overestimate. And often consider this situation as the Maggaphala Jnana, or some people come up to a short and overestimation without going through this Sotapanni, Sakadagami, Anagami. Directly I consider as I have become an Arahant. Because that the friction no more. All the bad gone, positive, productive part become multiply at a rate. So therefore often you can fall into this trap. And commenters verily understand this kind of a trap will never be a problem for lazy bones. It will only be a trap for the very efficient and very enthusiastic yogis only on the first part. They don't know the trap there. So therefore they has to understand the path and non-path there. And very difficult to say whether it is something you have the intrinsic nature to understand this, or you have to gain it by theoretical understanding. It must be a combination of the both. You must have certain book knowledge, as well as you have to understand. You have to have a kind of qualities that you have developed, that as we listed in the qualities of Venerable Punnamantani Buddha, Appiccata, Santuttita, Pavivekata, Asansaggata, Vidyarambakata, the Vidyavantata. That means you have always to quality of hiding your qualities rather than brag. That is, Adhigama Appiccata means whatever the thing you gain, you achieve, you never going to claim them, going to show off them, advertise them. Santuttita, when you are practicing like that, you have to forego a lot of sensuous pleasures. Or you have to strenuously apply yourself, and there are a lot of other imbalances can going to happen. So without much of worrying, you have to take the mean advantage of these developing faculties. So therefore, you must understand how to say enough. Sometimes you have no much of time for parties, no much of time for decorating yourself and all the kind of thing. These all things has to be little by little we know. Otherwise, if you are going to both, this pivot is always in the changing nature. It will never go to the advantageous side. So therefore, you have to here be Santuttita and Pavivekata, get as much as possible solitude life. But that does not indicate a hatred to the society. And the next thing is, don't let the society know that you love solitude. So the Buddha has mentioned in the Dasadhamma Sutta, the monks must develop their attitude in such a way, he must not let the people or tell the people, I love solitude. That itself is bragging, Buddha says. That itself is bragging. So, I can't remember the Pali phrase. It's a very famous that we always recite that sutta once in 14 days. Sunyagari abhiramamiti. I am a person always love solitude kind of thing. It's knowingly or unknowingly bragging. So that indicates that you people are very socialist, party going type. I don't like you. Why? That is asking for trouble. No gain, complete utter lost. So therefore, when it is necessary to go party, why not you go there and have a dance, finish. But come back and do your thing. Instead of telling organizers of the parties. And few days time they will understand you are like vegetable. Even your dancing is not tallying with it, so they will forget about it. So when the Godwin is asked to, in the party, Godwinaya, you can't sit and wait, you have to dance. Okay, he said, you have to take me and you dance yourself, myself. So he started playing with that. The other person found it such an embarrassing thing because he is like a vegetable. How to dance with him? So he put them and set him in the same chair and says, mind your own business, I am dancing, going to have another partner. So a few days time, your body language will tell them without showing. So therefore, don't go for showing or indicating or advertising your qualities. That is appichata, adhigama appichata. I think that is the most difficult for the life. But I would say I am the most efficient for that kind. I spent 8 to 9 years, no one knows that I am meditating. I am a full dynamic and making people full dynamic. I don't let them also to be at rest. But soon I come home, I take my time. That is the way I keep both the things are running. So it is not, Buddha will not teach you that. That is none of the business of the Buddha to teach you. You must have your common sense to maintain appichata. And santuttita, appichata, pavivekata, that means solitude, asansagata, when and where the chances happen, you must have your escape. You must have your way, the place to go and sit. Maybe one separate part of your very house, or close by monastery, or a forest. Whenever you have to have the time, place which is conducive for you, and that according to the facilities at your fingertip, you have to adjust it. And virya, that always you must understand, in order to make use the opportunity, the mind must be very alert all the time. And it must be very energetic, so therefore your health must be very, very important. And your mental health also very important. So therefore you must keep your body very clean, lean, and understand what are the food necessary, exercises necessary, the amount of medicine necessary, without falling into the serious diseases. So keep the energy. So these things are sometimes health, or sometimes your aesthetic ideas, and that you have to understand. And then only you can see the sila must be daily revised and go for higher sila as and when possible. The concentration must be daily revised and go for the higher concentration. And your wisdom must be daily revised and go for higher. And your liberation, your emancipation must be daily remembered, at least. Everything you are doing in order to this liberation, that means vimutti. So when and where little vimutti you gain in the gradual process, that is to say, when the in-breath ceases to exist, if you can trace back to the last drop, you will see there is a vimutti over there. When the out-breath ceases to exist, if you can trace back to the last drop, there is a vimutti over there. When the anger happens, and when anger is going to ceases, there is a vimutti over there. When a desire happens, And when the desire is going to cease, or nirodha, vimukti is there. So each and every phenomena arising with the tension and the hilarious feeling and the involvement, but it ceases to exist with the vimukti. So then and there, if you can catch this little bit of vimukti piecemeal basis, that you can understand by frequency whether you are reaching the understanding very vimukti. It is not the last, consummating, surmounting vimukti. Then and there you have, but if you neglect about them, you don't know how to appreciate yourself. So therefore these 10 qualities must be there. So that is possible only at this age, this stage. Not at the Sila Visuddhi level, not at the Chitta Visuddhi level, not at the Ditti Visuddhi level or Kankavitara level. So therefore, if you are going to do this kind of a refinement at that level, it is immature. But if you are not skillful to understand here, that will be dry. So the moment you understand and get the proper combination, then huge hilarious feelings going to happen that can overwhelm you. So that you have to be aware of. Sunyagaram pavittasa santachitasa bhikkhuno amanusi rati hoti sammadabam vipassato. When and where you understand how to tackle the beginning, the middle and the end, you are going to experience kind of a unhuman kind of a mental state. Never you can gain it by materialistic pleasure. So for that you have to go to a sunyagara, that means silent place, and sunyagara pari santachi sasabhikuno, you must appreciate the serenity and the calm mind, and amanusi rati, the beyond excels the human pleasure you get by the practicing of vipassana, that means udayabhya jnana vipassana, yato yato sammasati kandalpa kandanam udayabhya. As and when arising and passing away of the form, the feeling, the perception, the volition, mental formations, and the consciousness, as and when arises, if you can follow it, khandana udayabhya, yato yato sammasati. As and when the time permits, you do contemplation of the 5 faculties, labati piti pamudya. Whether it is defilement or a mental factor such as conducive for the meditation, whatever it may be, whenever you see the beginning, the middle and end, kind of a pamudya, amatantang vijanata. For him, understanding of the passing away, understanding of the nirodha, understanding of the cessation of any phenomena, it appears like the final liberation. So each arising has its own cessation that is already given, but now your attention is basically to the cessation part. You are not worrying and going not hilarious toward the arising part. Arising part you let the phenomena to happen unhindered. And you are so careful, so diligent, so vigilant to see the end of the phenomena, each and everything, whether it is a defilement or it is a skillfulness, the cessation is always amatang, that means going to give the deathlessness, the feeling of the deathlessness. That is how the pivot is going to happen from this wavering situation to the some kind of confirmed situation, and that is from the depending and believing on the external thing. Now you are slowly shifting into your own faculties, your own abilities, and therefore the kind of a confidence is going to develop. And that is how when and where you understand the path and non-path, then only the real entering into the path, entering into the course of practice become justified. You know now why you are doing this. It is not to satisfy the outside world, or not for the gain, not for the fame, not for money. You understand then and there, and rather you will see no second person is you. The present moment is by itself is complete. If you say anything lacking, that is due to your wrong interpretation. All the expensive, sophisticated laboratory is there. Lab is fully equipped, and it is just for you to do the noble quest, the research. And being a human, no one can withdraw it from you. And no one can improve that from you. What is given is equally among each and every individual. So this is the point you are changing your attitude toward that kind of resources, and there onward you feel the inner contentment in a higher grade than overcoming the purification by overcoming the doubt. And opening a huge opening, and there also, that is why it says, but to go in a gradual way, don't enjoy it, don't let the mind to lead you for this magnetized effect of the meditation. And present day in Sri Lanka, if you really study this stage, how much of teachers, they overestimate themselves and they self-propose themselves, and they are leading others by their own self-proposal, and rather not leading, misleading it happens. So therefore when these people are going to talk, they are talking about completely enlightened beings, and make it is very easy and cheap. This is, come and listen to me, 1 hour talking, you will become Sotapanna. Or if you come to 7 days and 7 talks times, you will become. Or if you can read my book, you will become. So that is what it happened. That is because this understanding or difficulties understanding the path and non-path is so critical, so therefore one has to have immunized for that before going into this stage on the theoretical basis. But even then, when the pivot is going to change, you are succumb to certain amount of damages. And therefore, whenever you go to the other show, you have your own ways and means, your intrinsic way of recovering the healing the damages, and that is how you can give a real experience, direct experience to the other people, rather than make them slaves. Let them do their own experiment and have their own confidence upon them, then onward that independence you can have. So that is how the Vipassana is not creating any kind of a relationship with the disciple and the teacher, and the senior meditator and the junior meditator. Everyone is known as Sabrahmacharis, co-meditators. Each one become a mirror to each other rather than the instructors or teachers or the superior. So that is how the humble nature. Because compared to this kind of knowledges, when it's happening, it will appear like a very big thing. But compared with the knowledge of the Buddha, what is this? This is nothing comparatively. So therefore, your humbleness must be there. So Udayabhajnana is very important. That may be, who Pandita Sayadaw is always telling, if someone can comprehend this, then onward, even the yogi is not in a permanent, irreversible situation, he or she will be fairly independent. That doesn't indicate there is no damages, but when the damages happen, he or she understand how to recover it without the second person. If the second person is available, good. But even that, without that, they will never lose their heart, discouraged, looking forward. So therefore, this is the pivot. So Udayabhajnana, and if you achieve the Sotapanna, again you will never go down below this level. This is the resting place for the sake of Buddha. So if you are after become Sotapanna, and if you are again going to get the meditation for the second Marga Jnana, you will be coming and resting at the Udayabhajnana. But if you are a Puthujjana, even before without going to the Sotapanna, if you have to stop meditation, you have to again start from the beginning. So once become a Sekapugala, you will rest at this point. Whatever you are going to see, you can see the arising and passing nature, whether you are in a meditative mood or not. So therefore, this is a kind of a nest, kind of a stage for the Sekapugala. So that indicates your mind has gone to a irrevertible forward step. If you are naturally feel, if the mind is always at the Udayabhinana level. So that's all I thought of sharing today as Dhamma talk. Thank you very much for listening. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Bhante, you mentioned Vimutti?
Vimutti, yes.
Vimutti, what is that?
Liberation, emancipation.
Oh, okay. And you mentioned that you should experience this Vimutti when you see the end?
End of the phenomena. End of the phenomena. Nirodha means that cessation. Cessation means the micro level of representation of the Vimutti or liberation.
Cessation is the micro level of Vimutti. Okay, thank you.
If you are ready, if you have a skillful understanding, then and there Vimutti, that means the mind is really directing and heading to the final Vimutti. Venerable Bhante, we have organized the following books for the distribution in this life itself: Towards an Inner Peace, A Mind Revealed, 7 Factors of Enlightenment, Stillness of the Truth, Venerable Dhamma Vasa, Timeless Wisdom, Upandita, Sinhala book by Venerable Jnanarama. Please kindly give an introduction to the yogis. In Nissarana itself, except this Timeless Wisdom, others are the authors from the Nissarana. We have 50 or 60 number of books maybe. Free distribution. It is on and off. We publish and print and publish, all related to meditation. But this series is the English one. So there are some, I have to add something, some good books, I'd say extremely good books from Venerable Katukurunde Jnanananda, that is the mind, the Nibbana, the still. The mind still. That's Nibbana, the mind still. That book's mind stilled. And that is also you can download from the website known as Beyond the Net. And the other one is Concept and Reality. You can purchase from Buddhist Publication Society. Soon it will be free distribution. Magic of the Mind. We have free distribution, but you have to go to him and collect it. And the Ideal Solitude, still good. Or otherwise you have to visit the Royal Institute in Colombo, Mr. Bandara. They will give it. And some other English, something like Vipassana. One talk also been translated. So these are very good and deeply going into the discourses, the suttas, and I am often take quotations from them. Soon the Concept and Reality also will be, no, Concept and Reality he is not going to give it, but he is now translating that into Sinhala. Then it will be easy for the Sinhalese. But this book is very cheap in Buddhist Publication Society, and it's quite worthwhile. And the 7 stages of purification and 7 stages of purification inside knowledges, that is also a translation of Venerable Jnanarama. That is also available in the Buddhist Publication Society. Purifications, that Rathavinitha Sutta we are talking about, and insight knowledges. 7 stages of purification and insight knowledges. Sattva Visuddhisa Vidassana Jnana in Pali. Jnanarama, Venerable Jnanarama. And I mean that is what the Sinhala book is there. The translation is done by Bhikkhu Bodhi, and it's very well received, well accepted book. So these are the book-wise, but generally the book reading is not encouraged. Just introducing these things, instead of reading other things, better to replace for the Dhamma books.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
When you said just now that once the yogi attains Udavyaya Jnana, he might sort of misunderstand the situation as being Arhat or coming to Margapala.
Yeah.
So I thought at that time, of course, he might need the guidance of an excellent teacher more than any other situation.
Of course, that the help of the teacher is cannot be overemphasized. But that is why Upandita Sayadaw says, if someone can lead beyond this Udayabbaya Jnana, the teacher's responsibilities are fairly fulfilled. So therefore, this is most critical, the pivot, the changing over happens. So therefore, if you are under the guidance, this will be the most the situation, you get the highest benefit, but the teacher finds the most difficult to tackle the yogi. Yeah. Very difficult. Even the disciple doubting the teacher also. Venerable Jnanarama says, if the teacher going to say, please underestimate, he will say, teacher is envious about me, I am getting higher jnana, so he don't have this son, that is why he is going to underestimate. If he is going to estimate experience like this, he won't talk like that because it's so pure, so powerful, so under my nose. So that kind of thing happens. So teachers has to do it in not with the wisdom but with the compassion. So much of embracement has to happen. Otherwise, the misunderstanding or misunderstanding your own experience and the misunderstanding of the teacher and the teachings also can happen. So Meghiya Sutta, it is not at this level. You can say the Meghiya is asking the Buddha that you have finished your task. So if I am going to help you, I am also losing my time. Let me go. Then the Buddha says, please wait till another attendant to come, then you can go. No, I am telling you, you have completed. So I have to complete. So I am going to take leave. Second time. Third time also he says, this is for my benefit, I am leaving you. He put the robe and the bowl with the Buddha and left the place.
Means that can be the worst bottleneck in the path.
Yeah. So therefore humbleness and then simply underestimating yourself, and you have to understand it is happening for the successful yogis. It is happening for the successful yogis. So whenever the success going to happen, be more and more humble. That is why the bamboo tree is being highly representative in Taoism. When the bamboo tree goes, always the head is down. So in the Taoism, you can see the Chinese drawings and everywhere they draw a bamboo tree. And more you go up there, you bend down.
Would you please explain briefly what Munchitu Kammeta Jnana is?
So tomorrow, you have to wait till tomorrow.
Bhante, as far as this vimutti, this liberation, not the final liberation, but say from its purification of taints, right?
Purification of?
Purification of taints. Or
tension.
Error, taints,
Taints.
Yeah, it's purification. A liberation from a particular taint.
Sabbasava.
Is there a feeling that's associated with that? So that I know when I'm liberated from a taint, I know what I'm feeling.
No, it is happening in a very slow way, that you have to understand, whenever you see something, hear something, there is a kind of energies, the visual objects or sound waves come and strike your sense door. Sensitive of the eye or the eardrum. Or the smell has to come and touch it here. Taste and come and to your taste buds. And the feelings has to come and touch your bodily tactile sensation. So this is the stimuli, that's the precursor for you to experience it. But soon that happened, that some taint coming from in to out and meet up with that. That is how you judge. You see a good thing or bad thing. You heard good or bad thing. The taint coming from into the out. When these two happen, they are meeting at the sensitivity of your organ. It is at the organ level or at the faculty level. So they are, what is coming from out to in, what is coming from in to out, are interacting each other. So that place you must be fix your guard. You see, very alert and very diligent. And that is why the Buddha says, whenever seeing happens, stop at that level. Don't put something upon that. Don't interpret it. Don't, how to show that, put your value judgment upon that. Stop at that level. The value judgment come always mixed up with taints. The influx, the asava.
Half of a taint is your own, I don't know about anybody else, but half of my taint would be my taints would be desires, okay? Which would not be coming from outside, they'd be coming from inside. No?
That is the thing you have to critically analyze it and see. The desire is not an attribution of the object. Inside.
So what's happening? What's coming from outside?
Outside is the precursor to giving a chance you to get a new experience, new phenomena, new event. That event will be valued, event will be tainted, will be colored by the internal taint. So therefore same thing observed by two people, two interpretations. The moment you accept it and try to be radical, try to be critical when and where experience going to happen, that is the starting point regarding the taints.
That's the starting point of what?
The handling of taints.
When you're being critical about it?
You set the observant mind, the vigilance, the diligence, when and where the contact going to happen, when and where the experience going to happen, you must understand two things coming from both the sides. And how the spark going to happen.
Swamin Wahanse, I got a small question. Udayapa Jnana and Sankaropeksha Jnana, are they close relative to each other?
The Udayapa Jnana is the beginning of the serious Vipassana Jnana. Sankaropeka is the end of the serious Vipassana Jnana. They are in the two, the Navamahavidassana starting with Udayabhya and ending up with Sankaropeka. So I am going to go to the written question that we have left behind in the morning session. Venerable Sir, when you spoke on the view, are we mainly trying to get rid of personality view? That means ego. Please explain. So that is the main trunk. And out of the trunk, lot of branches are there. So if you can tackle the trunk, branches will gradually wilt off. You have to take care about the ego as the personality view as the main trunk for the 62 kind of branched views. Can you explain why people can't use an umbrella in a temple premises? Many monks carry umbrellas to protect themselves. So there is no restraint to use an umbrella inside the premises. It is, there may be something misunderstanding. Dear Bhante, one by one question please. Is there anywhere in the Sutta Pitaka that we can attain jhana by aditthana? I think that we have tackled it. By aditthana, please answer to this question first. No, there is no such details, and Buddha is not the one. He has given the basic skeleton, and the other details are basically happen during the commentary stage. So if you can go directly by the teaching of the Buddha, that means you are very quick-wit. You can go. If it is not so, you have to go for the second stage, depending on the commentaries, and then go to the sub-commentaries and sub-sub-commentaries. That is how it goes. If not so, then how can so many teachers are teaching this? I mean, it is open. It's how to call it, the living Dhamma. Many people can assimilate many methods in order to achieve it. So it is not a burden, it is not a question, it is not a problem someone. If you can go without aditthana, well and good. If it is not so, try the next best. Can you please tell us little bit about late Venerable Amata Gaveshi? People say he was Arahant, but I heard at his last years he has lost his mind, going mad. Can a mad person become an Arahant? So, the Buddha mentioned not to be judgmental about others. That's the worst thing you can do. So therefore, would have gone and asked him before become mad. That's the only way possible. And even you can't understand your situation, so how can you judge? And therefore it is not going to give any kind of a constructive, energetic thing. This is the wastage of time. You are losing the present moment. That is why the mindfulness I can easily interpret as mind your own business. From where did he learn and taught this quick and easy to 2-minute jhana method? Instead, interested to know the history. Have you also practiced this method? No, I had no chance. Otherwise I will go and practice. Definitely that is the best I can do. If it is good or bad, you apply yourself and see. If you wish to swim, you have to get into the water. You can't swim on the dry land. What happened when you practice this way? No, I had no chance. We were both related to Nilambe, but I have not seen this pattern. But everyone was talking about Dissanayaka or something like that. He's a police superintendent. But I have not seen the person. After the ordination, one day Venerable Pemasiri introduced to me, but at that time he was very sick with the diabetics and kind of thing. He is the lay name of the Amata Gaveshi. Ekanayak. How things are in Sri Lanka. Here. Other side. This retreat has been a well-organized one. All the credit should go to the organizers and to you. I thought I have no forgotten. Only the organizers like. But anyway, lucky I am. However, I thought of pointing out some that needs improvement. In the monastery, why nuns being trained different to the monks? Would monks have their dana sitting together with lay people? Venerable sister has to take dana in our dining hall in the normal chair. Seat is also not prepared. And she has to walk to the tap to wash the hand after dana. I thought monks and the nuns get service in the same way. This observation does not encourage us to become nuns. Why nuns are treated in a disrespectful way? Is this how things are in Sri Lanka? Usually the best is to go on Pindapata and have your meal as you like and come. But when the organization happens, different organizations have their own methods according to the timetable and topographical situation. So in each and every monk and every nun has the choice to go to the monastery what they like. So therefore it is open. There is no particular place that you must be there and do there like that. So different combinations are there. So therefore that you have a huge choice, whatever it may be. But there are, generally speaking, the nuns are not being looked after. That is general. So that is a accepted fact. And I read some articles in the triangle or tricycle or something like that. This is that when you are observing that if you take the ordain, the order, nuns and the monks are well off. Everyone is happy to offer to the monks. But the nuns are not much. So therefore when we go to the Panditarama, and on top of that, nuns are, whatever they are going to get, they are offering that to the monks and to the Buddha. And therefore, when the Pandita Sayadaw, when the nuns are coming offering, Pandita Sayadaw never accepted. He says that you people are not being well looked after, therefore I have enough. Why should you offer to me? So please keep it and use it. Then they says, no Bhante, very rarely only we get a chance to offer it to you. Please, please, please accept like that. Because they are very compassionate, so therefore the nuns, 4 requisites wise, they are not better off, not well off than monks. That is a general fact. It is possible for you to give guidance to such matter like this. I think that the best thing is to give the open choice to have it. So I would like to get the the opinion of the sister, whether she feel this is embarrassing or whether she feel it is discouraging or this thing for her practice. That is what we have to see. That's the most important and crucial. I think this is good for us to see monks and the nuns are trained respectfully. Is there any reason why bhikkhunis should be given no respect or little respect? Sorry to point this out, but hope this will help organize to the things in the right way. Also, it will encourage us ladies to become nuns, seeing they are treated fair way. Sorry Bhante, to our immature mind, these things matter. This was pointed out only to improve the things for the future, not to find faults with. Hope I did not put Venerable Sister on spotlight. I am sorry, I have already given the mic. It is so nice to see her down-to-earth manner, her humble nature actually inspired me. So you see, that's a reason to be inspired. At last. It's good. So therefore, I will wait the sister to give her opinion. I am not put her into the embarrassment, but since you are the person who is more authentic and qualified to do, please.
Do I have to say something, Bhante?
I am requesting but not pressing you.
I think they are doing what they can do, and it's not a problem for me. But maybe if they have seen offering the dana to the monks and nuns in a certain way, maybe this looks a bit odd. Maybe that's what that person is saying. I don't know.
When the last time we were at the one retreat in single medium, and there were 2 nuns were sitting there. One person came and told, this is the best Bhante, because in future the necessity for monks is increasing. All the temples are not now equipped with monks. A lot of temples are there in Sri Lanka. There is no one to continue this thing. But nuns are going there, at least they are conducting the timetable and helping people. So therefore, if they can have little bit of meditation, their qualities will be very high. So therefore, always, if you can have at least one nun in here, that indicates we are try to share as much as possible, not only regarding the 4 requisites, but to share the Dhamma. Of course, this is not the first time for the sister to come and meditate. She is already meditating. So therefore, at when you are as far as we have not come up to a certain level, hardships are there. So these hardships, one has to go there. They are the real people becoming the role model. And present day, wherever you go, in a meditation center, more than 70% female. That's a feature. So that means There was so much of demand, and if there are any female instructors, it's a huge demand. So therefore, those who are training for themselves definitely has to undergo the difficulties for the moment, and the possibilities there, rather than, as the letter says, rather than demanding this and that, how can we cope up with this and help others people, those who have not even that kind of facilities and opportunities. So therefore, if someone going to up there in the monastery, we never accept any females. Simply. And this is a very special chance, being this is a place built for dayakas. And therefore, at the beginning the question, Bhante, can we stop? Can we stay here 2 nights consecutively? 3 nights, 4 nights? That possibility was there. So we have getting so much of opportunities. So in the time to come, the equal treatment and kind of thing may happen. It is not been, how do you call it, stratified. This is the way it happens. So I respect the sister's ideas. If she feel, not for herself, if she has any ideas of how to improve this kind of thing, or to bring the meal to her kuti, her place, these things are very simple things. But if you wish to go there and have a meal in front of other people, that is individual liking and disliking. So therefore, please, give the constructive suggestions how to improve, not to give that much of a problem for the observers, outsiders, so that the basic facilities are being treated in a dignified manner. Could you describe the good way to meditate on the qualities of the Buddha? Simply I would say the practicing the qualities of the Buddha is not necessary if the Anapana is happening nicely. It's a by road. But if you have any lack of enthusiasm, lack of quality of recorrecting yourself or rectifying your problems, then only the virtues of the Buddha is important, because he did it, he achieved without any facility, any teacher, any method, from the scraps. So you being the grumbling, telling I have no this and that, when such a thing happened, recollection of the Buddha's virtues of the Buddha is prescribed. The other thing is, whenever you feel fear, when you are living in the forest, feel isolated and fear, then the Buddha's virtue. Without that, going to do the recollection of the Buddha, that means you are undermining your time for Anapanasati. If the Anapanasati is working, don't worry, Buddha is the one prescribed Anapanasati. But if you have fear, or if you have any, withered mind, wilted mind, difficult to recover by Anapanasati, then you have to sit comfortably in front of the desirable statue and pay respect, have some lights and the flowers, and then you recite at least the first quality of the Buddha, Arahang. Arahang means that he is qualified. He is qualified because his mind is untainted. But we are disqualified because our mind is tainted. So if we can at least make our mind continuous with the quality of the Buddha, without smearing with the wandering mind and the thoughts, Arahang, 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 you are going to fulfill your mind for a chunk of time with the qualities of the Buddha. Then your consistency will going to happen. So therefore, if you have that kind of a necessity, before doing Anapanasati, you are supposed to make 5-10 minutes, allocate for the recollection of the virtues of the Buddha, and then once the mind becomes recuperated, then you can go for Anapanasati.
Bhante, one comment with regard to that earlier statement on, or question rather on umbrellas. when we circulated before the start of the retreat, we sent various circulars. In one of the circulars, it was very clearly mentioned that everybody should essentially bring an umbrella. So I don't know how this confusion with regard to why you are not allowed to take an umbrella or whatever is.
Can I explain that, please? Because in Sri Lanka, when I went to one of the temples, I was using an umbrella as a sunshade that I had come from overseas. And the man there, like the man who supervises, came running and was very angry with me. He said, "Meka me bahanda dannadda meka me geniyan me mehema karanna bෑ." So I just closed the umbrella, and so I was just wondering what the relationship was.
Oh, it didn't apply here.
No, nothing here, but I was using it here with a little bit of concern because of that past experience.
Usually it says that wearing hats and the shoes and wearing umbrellas or having umbrellas inside the buildings, they allocate for the statues, that is treated as unrespectful, and says that the other one is Chattapanissa Pikkave Chattapanissa Agilanassa na Dhamman Desi Samiti Shikitabang. When someone is holding an umbrella, you must not preach Dhamma. When you are holding an arm, you must not preach Dhamma. When you are holding the stick, you must not preach Dhamma. If someone is wearing shoes, you must not preach Dhamma. If someone is wearing hats, you must not preach Dhamma. If someone is sitting on the higher seat, you must not preach Dhamma. So there is 15 situations, these things are there. That means a lack of respect to the Dhamma. So under such circumstances, if you are going to a monastery expecting teaching from the others, and still if you are holding the umbrella, the monk find embarrassed.
No, Bhante, we just entered the premises.
Yeah.
That's all.
So that is the particular person is a moralist. So he is concerned not you, not anything. He is concerned on the morality. So this is what you call monasteries. When you go to the monasteries, so much of, and earlier in Burma, the shoe issue. And the regime was under the UK government, and people, the army officers, and going to the temples and the chaitya with the shoes. So Burmese were so angry. So they told that that is more than killing ourselves, because you are going to the shoes with the Buddha and kind of thing. So officers asked what to do. You must not remove it. You must remove it before going to the premises. What they did was, they asked to Burmese people to carry them while they are having the shoes on their shoulders. That became the shoe issue, because they are slaves. So there is a photo, a cartoon, the white person is climbing up on the Burmese person, the heavy person with the shoes, and he is carrying the person to the Buddha. So these are the interaction between the moral code and the politics.
Bhante, can I just ask one clarification?
Yeah.
This, you gave some words, this Santuttika and Pavitittika and Apichita. Can you just go through that?
The 10 qualities, when you are reading, it has qualities of Venerable Punnamantani Putta, character certificate for Punnamantani Putta.
Uh-huh.
So it says the qualities of the teacher, the preacher, and that is how the story started. So if you can go to the Rathavinitha Sutta, early part, you have this 10 that indicates you, in order to develop high quality Dhamma, you must have these traits. You must develop it. Okay, now almost 10 o'clock. So, hoping that there are no more questions, we can go for the end of the day's